Hello, my name is Josh Yoon, and I am currently a researcher and volunteer for the Taiko Community Alliance. And I'll be talking today about the recent work that aims to capture the genesis and dynamic processes within the Taiko drumming network. Taiko, which is the Japanese word for drum, is a relatively new art form that's known for its energetic and thrilling performances. These images depict the modern ensemble form of taiko known as kumidaiko, which originated from Japan and was first brought over to the United States during the late 1960s. Today, taiko is more popular than ever, where its practitioners continue to push the boundaries of how it is performed and represented both on and off the stage. While recent ethnographic work highlights the impact of taiko at the individual level, there remain unanswered questions concerning the historic evolution of the taiko community from a holistic vantage point. Some of those questions include how the taiko community has grown, what its structure resembles, and which taiko players and groups have had the most influence throughout its development. To tackle these questions, a social network analysis approach was implemented, which will be described in more detail throughout the rest of this talk. The taiko community can be abstracted as a two-mode weighted bipartite network, where the two types of nodes are taiko players and taiko groups. Players are typically members of one or several groups for some variable length of time, which is how weights are assigned to each edge. To obtain this, a systematic survey was created, which asked every individual to provide the name of each group and years of membership. The survey was distributed via email and social media, largely targeting those residing in North America, Europe, and Oceania. At the end of the survey period, a total of just under 1,000 responses were received, collectively hailing from 500 taiko groups that come from 23 countries. As a visual, here is a brief video that illustrates the dynamic nature of the taiko bipartite network. The blue dots are players and the red dots are groups. Only a handful of them did not identify with a specific group. While the taiko community began small, these results already show considerable growth, especially during the past few decades. The figures here describe how the number of nodes and edges grew from 1969 to the present, where the left illustrates the number of new people outpacing the number of new groups, and the right shows how the number of new connections between players accelerates at a higher rate than the number of connections between groups. To better understand the connectivity of the network, cumulative node degree distributions were plotted for each one-mode network, where the horizontal axis is the measured degree and the vertical axis is the proportion of nodes. For each 10-year interval, the appropriate model function was fit to the data from each distribution, which describes how new connections are overall distributed throughout the taiko network. To help identify influential people and groups, the eigenvector and between the centrality metrics were calculated for each node. Players and groups of relatively high eigenvector centrality tended to be connected to one another, while in contrast, nodes of high betweenness centrality measures were more spread out. Note the curious structural features of both networks, where certain groups serve as the root for other groups, while here massive loops connect relatively distant players together in a circuitous fashion. To show how taiko is spread beyond the United States, the group network was superimposed with a world map. What is striking are the bridges between groups from different countries, many of which were not realized before. Furthermore, by representing each node as a collective set of groups within one country, the resulting figure helps accentuate the point that taiko has now become a globalized art form and has brought taiko players much closer together than ever before. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone from the TCA who was involved with this project. Special thanks to Dr. Linda Uechi for helpful and engaging discussions. And I'm grateful to the conference organizers for their hard work towards making this amazing event happen and allowing me to present this work. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions from the audience. Thank you very much.